So then EA came out.
Oh god! Well, that was
and they killed it. No, they killed us. Yeah.
They killed it in the negative way, not like that was sick in a good way.
That was just plain vomit. It was like it was a love letter to their sponsors and the people who invest in them. They started off with like the teasiest tease of Mass Effect. The new one's called Andromeda. They didn't show anything of it. It was like a Wild West scenario. And then it pulled back and back and back, and then it turned out the guy was in space looking for a really long telescope at this world or something, and then that was kind of it. And he had the uniform that Joey Mass Effect used to wear on the game, whatever he's called. I can't remember his name or her name. Shepard, that's the one. I'll get there in the end. And yeah, I don't know, it just felt that was there again to please their investors more than anything else. It didn't show anything really tangible about the game or anything like that. I was just kind of left going, well, yeah, we know it kind of existed. We know Mass Effect's going to come out. They might as well have waited and shown us when it actually was something you could look at and go, bloody hell, that is incredible. But they jumped the gun on it.
Because Mass Effect seems like one of those things they don't need to tease, do they? I mean, people. Well, actually, no, you didn't think it would come, did you? You thought they'd tied up Mass Effect.
I was being sarcastic.
Oh, right, okay.
Sarcasm's lost on Dave.
As someone who hasn't played the games, I was like, oh, right, okay.
No, only because, so at the end of the last game, they tied it up in a neat little package, but they probably did exactly the same thing with Gears of War, and then they're still, this is a massive cash cow for them. They'll never stop making them until people stop buying them, so...
Interestingly, it was at this point where I think a sign came on the bottom of the screen saying Star Wars 50 minutes. And I thought that's unusual for a press conference to say when the last game, like the game everyone's there to see, is going to be shown. And then, as it was, for every other 5-minute interval, it came up saying, it's almost like an apology. 35 minutes to go, folks. All right, we're going to get there.
The thing is, it seems weird as well, doesn't it? Because everyone knew that they were going to be showing Star Wars Battlefront, it's like, well, they bring out some surprises. That's what people surely are interested in with these conferences, is the surprises. No one cares about the stuff they already know. Saying that, the Star Wars thing was impressive, but it wasn't like, oh, I must hold on to see Star Wars, because at the end of the day, you're going to see a trailer on YouTube the second they've shown it at the conference. So it's like, well, whatever. Show me something new. And what was new?
Well, Need for Speed was new, but it wasn't really new because it was just a racing game called Need for Speed.
Is it called Need for Speed 28, or is it just called Need for Speed?
I have no idea. I stopped making notes.
I bet they've rebooted it. They've probably gone, right.
I think it might be called Speed for Need.
Okay, cool. Need for Speedos. You are a swimmer. Okay.
And then they showed a very exciting looking Star Wars trailer for the Old Republic, where these two evil Jedi people were, Sith. That's my knowledge of Star Wars right there. We're fighting each other. Yeah, it's for the Knights of the Old Republic game that no one plays, I don't think, anymore. And I don't think it's going to rekindle massive interest, so let's move swiftly on. My favourite part of the show then happened, apart from maybe Star Wars, where they brought out a very, very nervous, very, very skinny chap to talk about his ball of yarn cat friend for about what felt like 35 minutes or something. It probably wasn't that long. I'm sure it was only about 5 minutes, but man, he looked nervous. Yarny. Brother of Yarny.
Yeah, he was a bit nervous. He had very shaky hands. He was like the ultimate nerd. It's like, basically...
You are the ultimate nerd.
I'd like to see what the rest of them in the room... So, because what I gather, it's quite a small team of people. They were like, well, one of us has got to do this.
Yeah, he was the alpha male and went, stand back, lads, I've got this. So, this is the one bit I didn't see. So, all I've seen is a gif of this bloke pulling a little cat out of his pocket. So, what the hell is this thing?
So, yeah, Yarny, it actually looks really nice. Like the game it looks nice. It's got like this kind of it's got a realistic look to it. But
the animation of Yarny himself is a bit like Limbo, the guy in Limbo, the kid in Limbo. The USP of it is that as you walk through the level, the yarn cat thingy unravels, so you've got this trail of yarn following you. And then you can sometimes use that. It's like they showed a bit where he was climbing up his trail of yarn and things like that. So it looked cool, but they showed that after him dying on stage for about 8 minutes, because he told us about his childhood and about the way he he went on holiday one year and made Yanni, and then like went and that's how he worked out how to make the game. I'm thinking, mate, you're like, I don't know what you're doing to yourself, or you're making Yanni on holiday.
This was it his friend, this thing?
This is what he looks like.
Yanni, my only
That's Yanni.
All right, that's a bit creepy looking. It looks like a croissant that's been like wrapped up in cotton.
To be honest, it looks like something that hasn't been designed. I've got to say that. But the game itself looked really nice, like the physics of it all and all that kind of stuff. It's a platformer.
So is it a 2D or a 3D or a?
It looks like a 2D platform.
Okay.
Really, yeah.
Imagine Limbo, but more colourful.
Right.
And the action was like closer to, so like the characters were bigger on screen, so you looked like you had less of an area to kind of behold at one time. The game's called Unravel. I don't know if we mentioned that.
Sounds like this bloke unravelled on stage.
Am
I right?
That's what we pay you for.
Very, very, very good, Jack.
Thanks. I'm glad I got that in there.
He looked as excited as he did nervous, and he probably was excited and he came across as nervousness, but yeah, it was. I just felt a bit awkward. You know when you have those moments where you like inwardly cringe because someone looks very uncomfortable?
I remember, I think it might have been last year where they were talking about Watch Dogs, and this bloke, or it might have been the year before, this bloke came out on stage and started talking about security cameras and stuff, and it was just really awkward. Do you remember that, Mike? There's this guy talking about like being followed by the police or something. It was just really weird, and everyone's like, oh, this is a bit strange. But that's one of the great things about E3 is that you have these people come out who are experts in their field, but they aren't necessarily public speakers.
They've literally never talked to another human being in their lives.
He did look like he'd just been making this game on his own for a long time, and he didn't, you know, the guy, I'm sure he was a very nice fellow. He's called Martin Salin or something like that, apparently. Anyway.
If they hadn't found digital coding, they would have definitely killed their entire family.
Jesus Christ. Thank God for digital coding in that case.
Then my notes say sports games happened.
Oh, God.
Something about hockey, something about golf, Madden, and FIFA with Pele for some reason.
Do you know what? I mean, I'm not a football. I know you guys like your footy.
I don't know if I'm alright.
I could not be less interested in football, and so that bit bored the shit out of me. And I thought it can't get any worse than this. But then they moved on to American football, and that just finished it for me.
Well, the thing is, though, I think even football fanatics found that bit with Pele boring.
God, they brought Pele on, and he spoke for 50. He was interviewed by a really excited guy who couldn't believe he was interviewing Pele, but he forgot there were other.
That was sickening to watch because he clearly knew he was like. It was like he was like pretending he just bumped into him in the hallway or something. It was.
I think the guy forgot that other people were watching him with Pele because he was visibly nervous about interviewing Pele, and Pele looked like he didn't know where the hell he was, and he was just someone just had some like a bundle of money on a bit of string, and they'd like lured him onto the stage, and then so this guy's going, Pele, tell me about the time you once kicked a football, and Pele goes, oh yeah, that was really good. And Pele's struggling to remember something that happened 40 years ago. And all the while, you've got this quiet auditorium full of people who... So, I mean, I'm sure, like, what's the audience for that? Because I know FIFA's massive. But, I mean, Americans watching it must have just been thinking, what is this shit?
And also, like, Americans struggle with accents, I've got to say. They're not, well, that's a sweeping generalisation.
But they do have subtitles when English people are speaking sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. So there were times when Pele was talking, and you could tell it was like a bit of a quip. Like they made some kind of little joke. And the audience was silent, and then Pele would go, and you think, oh, it's so painful.
I think there's nothing Pele won't do for a bit of money. Do you remember a few years ago did an advert for erectile dysfunction pills? The
thing is, he was a soccer superstar in the times where they didn't pay them like proper money. But nowadays, like you get paid ridiculous, crazy money for playing football.
I reckon he's made up for it since then.
Yeah.
He was talking about a story where he took a penalty or something. He was saying that it was the hardest goal to score. I totally lost track of it. It went on a long, long time.
The worst thing was the guy interviewing him was trying to make out that you could sort of recreate all these amazing like footballing moves, and he was trying to like draw a parallel between what you could do in FIFA 16 with a controller versus what Pele did on the field. And Pele's going, oh yeah, it's almost exactly the same. And you're thinking, Pele's dying inside. And actually, to be fair, he's dying on the outside as well. But it was just really... It went on for 6 years. I think it's still going on.
I think they should bring out Pele to talk about every single game from now on. I'd love to see that.
But yeah, Pele, what do you think about Unraveled? I don't know. Also, he's French, just in case you didn't know.
And so then let's finish on the positives from EA's things. They basically came out with their 2 games that actually were games rather than just videos or nothing. And one was Mirror's Edge Catalyst.
Yes.
and then the other one was Star Wars Battlefront. Should we take Catalyst first?
Yeah.
Yeah, did you guys play the first Mirror's Edge?
Yeah. No, I didn't complete it. I played it though. Played quite a bit of it actually.
Yeah.
It made me a bit travel sick.
It was, yeah. I mean, there's a lot.
She bobs.
She does bob, yeah. But there's, I really enjoyed the first game. It felt like something fresh compared to, endless shooters. The fact that you can traverse the whole game firing only one bullet, I counted. You get to a door and you've got to shoot the lock off, and that's the only time you need to use a gun in the whole game. I really like the traversal, and this basically looks like more of the same, but that's fine. I don't mind more of the same because we've only had one game in the series.
Well, it's open world though, isn't it? This.
Yeah, but I feel like that game could easily pull it off. So I thought it looked really, really good, but it does look like Mirror's Edge 1.5, doesn't it? Really?
They've said that they don't think that are any guns this time around, which is good for people sick of guns in games, and also there seemed at one point to be a bloke following her around as if they were almost suggesting it might be two-player. But they didn't announce that, but it looked like it maybe might be.
No guns. Old Lachlan double guns will be upset about that. Oh.
And and then they brought out Star Wars after the 50-minute countdown eroded, and it did look great. They showed the Battle of Hoth, which is an ice battle involving snow and what are those things called that look like kangaroos?
The little one's called ATSTs.
No, I mean the furry thingies.
That
Luke Skywalker gets put inside and Han Solo cuts one open.
Bantha, is it?
Banthas.
I tell you, I'm not a Star Wars fan, and I can tell you I've only seen the first one.
That's probably why you're not a Star Wars fan then?
Well,
you mean the Phantom Menace, don't you?
No, the first
I
Star
can see
Wars.
why that would put you off, actually.
But as a non-Star Wars fan, I thought it looked brilliant. Actually, I thought it looked like something I could really get into even as a non-Star Wars fan.
I'm really surprised by that because I felt like it was massive fan service because they chucked everything into that trailer. And
they did do that. I mean,
when it started off, I thought, okay, we'll see where this goes because I'm not really into multiplayer. It's multiplayer? Oh no, you can play. I think you can play against bots, but it's mainly multiplayer only.
Yeah.
So I went in thinking, yeah, I'll have a look. I probably won't buy it. But by the end, I was like sweating. I was so excited. My 8-year-old self was like just having a whale of a time. It looked amazing. It's everything you've ever dreamed of.
Yeah. And actually, it genuinely looked amazing as well. Like graphically, it looked fantastic. It looked like there was so many different ways to play in the game, loads of different things to do. I just thought, that looks like if I'm going to own a multiplayer game, that's the one I want to own. It's done a good job, I reckon.
My only slight concerns are it introduced the concept of Darth Vader fighting Luke Skywalker, which is fine. I don't care about canon, and obviously we all know it didn't happen at the Battle of Hoth, that little scene. But I don't know if I want those people involved in my fight I'm having, because I just feel like unless they're controlled by AI, perhaps. But it feels to me like if someone gets that as an award for being really good, it means they're really good at the game. And therefore, they're going to spank everyone as Darth Vader.
I do like the idea of just randoms on each team get picked as you are Darth Vader or you are Luke Skywalker.
They should make the worst character. I'd love to see Darth Vader just running around in circles.
You are Darth Vader. You are dead.
Damn, that messed up the continuity of the series. And my other concern was it looked a little bit too Battlefieldy in a way with all the objectives and all. And I know that is Battlefront anyway because it's obviously there's this whole series of them. And it just looked to me a little bit too close to what Battlefield is and it's continuous just you need to do this objective, you need to do this objective, you need to build this thing up, you need to get into that vehicle. There's just too many options on the screen. I feel like Star Wars, because they've got the look of it so perfect, that they should have stripped it back a little bit and made it a bit more like Star Wars is, a bit more basic. Because you don't see Han Solo bombarded by objectives as he's escaping the Death Star, do you? It just felt like, to me, just a bit too much, but maybe they had to put that in there just to tell people what to do. I don't know, but I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm very excited.
There was a huge amount of people in the game. Now, I've not played Battlefront, but is it going to be literally like the map is filled with online players, or is there going to be is it realistically going to be a lot of AI as well?
I think in theory it'll be all real people.
Right. Okay.
That's my understanding anyway.
Because I mean, when it was doing the gameplay trailer, it looked like you were constantly swapping between going to this or being in this vehicle, all that kind of stuff. And is that something that's likely to happen? You're actually controlling more than one person within a field?
You're only controlling one person, but you can... So I think that's just the trailer, wasn't swapping between characters. But in the other Battlefield games, you can be in a helicopter, then leap into a tank and all that stuff. So you can do whatever you want.
They're basically the vehicles are parked up, and you have to go and get into one.
Very convenient.
Or if you get
Yeah,
killed,
like a
you
car
can.
park.
If you get killed, you can spawn straight into one.
Right. Okay.
To that point, yeah, I vaguely in the back of my head, because I played Battlefield 1 or 2 ages ago, I'm kind of thinking that in some instances there were bots on the field and you could become those bots, but I might be wrong. I don't know, we'll have to see. I mean, to be honest, it seems a lot of this game still to be revealed. I'm sure more at Gamescom will come out, and I'm sure they're probably holding a lot back for when Star Wars 7 comes out, because suddenly they're going to show all this extra content around the DLC and everything. But yeah, I mean, it looked like it was going in the right direction, which I think is what every Star Wars fan wants to see, and you should watch those films because they're pretty good, Dave.
EA obviously, yeah, I've heard that. EA obviously knew that was their game. Was it the only thing they really had to talk about? Because it was like you said, that 50 minutes to Star Wars. It's like, well.
I mean, the other thing, I didn't even make a note of it, but they talked about Plants vs Zombies for about half an hour, which was just the most depressingly boring thing ever. I didn't even write it down. I just snoozed, I think. But yeah. They pulled it all back round by Mirror's Edge and then Star Wars, but I don't think even those two were enough to make up for the bit, like the 20 minutes on mobile.
I think,
and etc.
Like we said, they were just going through the motions for their investors, weren't they? That was all it was. But there was a lot more to look forward to later on as we reveal tomorrow.
All right. Do you want to say something?
No, go
Final last word now? All right. So that is part one of our E3 specials. Tune in tomorrow to Quitter Continue. We'll be doing Ubisoft, Sony, Nintendo, and probably Square Enix. So most of their stuff was already revealed in the other things earlier. But there you go. I just realised in Microsoft, did we talk about Tomb Raider?
No.
Damn, we'll talk about that tomorrow.
Microsoft did Tomb Raider as well. It's coming to all platforms.
By Square Enix, so we can cover that off tomorrow. That's fine. All right. Until next time, continue.